welcome to another Baking with Miss Natalie. So this morning I read a story all about this mouse who really wanted a cookie. So I thought it would be a fun idea to make some cookies this afternoon. So we're gonna make M&M chocolate chip cookies. So the first thing that you need to do, ask someone to help you, is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And then you're going to need at least 2 baking sheets, because this mixture will make quite a few cookies depending on how big or little you make them. So go ahead and grab 2 baking sheets, and then you're gonna want some parchment paper, and we're just gonna cover our baking sheets in parchment paper so that when our cookies are ready to be spooned onto our baking sheets, we have our parchment paper ready to go. So here's 1. And 2. So now I have my baking sheets ready. Go ahead and put them to the side until we need them a little bit later. So for this recipe, what you're going to need is flour, sugar, vanilla extract, salt, baking soda, butter, light brown sugar, eggs, M&Ms, and semi-sweet chocolate chips. So those are all the ingredients that you're going to need. So I'm going to use my stand mixer again today. If you don't have your stand mixer, grab that hand mixer, or you can just mix it by hand, but it will take a little bit longer to do by hand because you do need to cream some things together. So as far as attachments, for a stand mixer, you're going to want to use the paddle attachment. It doesn't have to be the one with the rubber spatula on the end, just any paddle attachment will do. Same thing when you're using a hand mixer, try to use either like a dough hook attachment. You can use the whisk attachment, it just might take a little bit longer, and you'll have to use a spatula, a small one, to kind of get in all of the nooks and crannies of your whisk to get out any butter or sugars that might be stuck. So the first thing we're going to do is put into our bowl 1 cup of butter. So when you're using your butter, you want to use the butter sticks, not the ones that come in the tub, and it has to be unsalted butter because we're going to put salt in a little bit later. We don't want double the amount of salt in our cookies because those wouldn't taste very good. So you're going to need 1 cup, which is going to be 2 sticks of unsalted butter, and just go ahead and cut those into cubes. And make sure it's room temperature butter. Otherwise, it's not going to whisk and blend into our sugars very well because it'll just be too tough. So cut those into cubes, put them down into your bowl. Okay, there we go. So now I have all my butter in my bowl ready to go. So the next thing we're going to add is sugar. So let's do our brown sugar first. So you're going to want to add 1 cup of light brown sugar. So go ahead and look at all of your measuring cups and spoons. Find the one that says 1 cup, and then fill that all the way up with your light brown sugar. And light brown sugar is kind of like a Play-Doh-y material where it's squishy. So you want to pack it down into your cup so that there's no air bubbles in your sugar. So make sure it's all nice and packed into the cup itself, all the way to the top. There we go. Now add that on in to your mixture. Now let's go ahead and add in our granulated sugar. For our granulated sugar, you're going to want 3/4 cup. So we're going to do some math again right now. And what you're going to want to find is the one that has a 1/4 cup. That's 1/4 cup. And we're going to put 3 of these into our bowl. So go ahead and fill your sugar. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now put this onto your stand, and what we're going to do is we want to whip this all together so it's all nice and creamy and combined. So start on speed number 2 and just let it go for about 2 minutes until it's all nice and whipped and combined and it looks kind of like a creamy frosting. Okay, so now it's all nice and whipped together. It kind of looks like a really thick frosting. So now we're going to add in our eggs. So for our eggs, we need 2 eggs. And you can just crack that right into your bowl. Remember, use your countertop, not the side of your bowl, to crack your egg. It'll make it smoother and you'll have less of a chance of getting the eggshell into your mixture. There we go. So now we have our eggs in there. Next we're gonna add is our vanilla extract. And we need 2 teaspoons of our vanilla extract. So look at your teaspoons, your measuring spoons, find the one that has a 1, and then the letters TSP, which stand for teaspoon. And then you're gonna fill this. Again, be careful because when we're working with liquids, we don't want anything to spill out. So go nice and slowly and put that into your bowl. Do that twice. So that was 1 and 2. And now we're gonna go ahead and mix and combine all of these together. So go ahead and put it onto number 2, and this time you really only need to do this for about a minute. So go ahead and mix. What you want it to look like is that you can't see the yolk anymore as a full yolk. You want it all broken up and mixed in together with the butters and the sugar. Okay, so now it's all mixed together. It kind of looks like a cake batter. It's a little liquidy, but that's okay because now we're gonna add in our flour. So grab your flour, just any all-purpose flour, and we're gonna put 3 cups of the flour into our bowl. So grab your 1 cup measuring cup, and we're gonna fill it 3 times and put that into our bowl. So there's 1 cup, there's 2 cups, there's 3 cups. There we go. Remember what I always say, bring a dish towel so you can wipe up any mess you might have out of your way. So the next thing we're going to add is our baking soda. And you want to put in 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So look at your measuring spoons. Find the one again that has a number 1 and then TSP. And we're going to put in 1 of these into our mixture. Now the last thing we're going to put in is table salt. And we're also going to use the same teaspoon because we need 1 teaspoon of table salt. There we go. Quickly clean up the mess. All right, now we're gonna mix all of this together until it creates a dough so that we can start putting them onto our baking sheets once we've added the yummy chocolate chips. So mix it all up until you create a dough-like texture. Okay, so now I have a dough texture with my cookie dough. Go ahead and scrape off all the extra dough that's stuck on your paddle. All right, so now grab your spatula and we're just going to scrape the sides of the bowl to make sure that we have all of the sugars, butter, flour incorporated nicely. All right, so now the next thing we're going to put in here is our chocolate chips. So for chocolate chips, we want 1 cup to be put in here. So grab your 1 cup measuring cup, fill that with your chocolate chips, and pour those in there. Now we're going to add in our M&Ms. So grab your M&Ms, and we also want 1 cup of M&Ms to be put into our mixture as well. There we go. Now using our spatula, we're just gonna fold in our chocolate chips and our M&Ms into the cookie dough. So you're basically just gonna start on the side, scrape, go down, lift up, and then fold over the top. And just keep doing that until all of the chocolate chips and the M&Ms are mixed in with your cookie dough. Okay, there we go. So now it's all nice and mixed together. So now go ahead and grab 1 of your baking sheets. And we're going to start scooping our cookie dough onto our baking sheet. So now I'm going to use a cookie dough scooper. If you don't have one of those, what you can do is just take some of the cookie dough, roll it into a ball, and put that down onto your cookie sheet. That works fine too. Now I'm just going to use my cookie dough scooper. And when you're putting your cookie dough down, you want to make sure that there's at least 1.5 to 2 inches between each ball of cookie dough. This makes it so that when we're baking them, they will expand a little bit and flatten, and we don't really want them to overlap each other. Otherwise, you're really just going to get a big cookie dough sheet of cookies rather than individual cookies themselves. So keep scooping and putting down onto your cookie sheet. All right, there we go. So now I have both my cookie sheets ready to go. You're still gonna have some mixture left in your bowl, but you will need to do this in batches because it does make quite a few cookies. So now we're gonna put both of these baking sheets into our oven, and you wanna cook them for about 8 to 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on it once it gets to 8 minutes, and you want it to have a nice golden color on the top. You don't want it to be perfectly golden brown because cookies do continue to cook after you take them out of the oven. So you don't want to have hard, crunchy cookies. You want nice, soft, chewy ones. So make sure it's just a little golden on top when you take them out. And then once you take them out of the oven, we're going to put some more M&Ms on the top so that you can see the pretty colors of the M&Ms when you are eating your cookies. So let's go ahead and put them into our oven, 8 to 10 minutes, and then we will check them when they're all done. Okay, so now I've taken them out of the oven and right now they're still hot, which is what we want. So ask someone to help you to do this because the pan will still be hot and the cookies. But what we're gonna do is just add some M&Ms to the top of our cookies while they're still warm so that you can really see all of those pretty M&M colors and they're not just in the cookie itself. So go ahead and start putting on some M&Ms onto the top of your cookies, pushing down a little bit into the cookie itself. You might need to work a little quickly because as they harden, it's going to be harder to add the M&Ms to the top of your cookies. They won't stick as nice. So just push them on in there. Right, there we go. So now I have the M&Ms on the top of all the cookies. You can see all those pretty colors on the top of those cookies from all those M&Ms. And that's it. That's how you make your M&M cookies. So I hope you enjoyed creating your cookies with me this afternoon. Have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!